All right, so get ready for this one, because today we're going to deep dive into the story of a guy
Oh, yeah.
who was so incredibly bad at being an outlaw
Really bad.
that he only found fame after he died.
That's Elmer McCurdy for you.
Elmer McCurdy.
His life, it was basically a comedy of errors.
Oh,
One botched heist after another.
really?
And yet,
Somehow he became a legend.
it's kind of like he was
Yeah,
almost talented at messing things up.
you could say that.
So born back in 1880,
1880.
Elmer's story starts with, well, a rough patch.
A rough start for sure.
Imagine this, okay?
Okay.
His mom was a teenager when he was born.
Oh, wow.
Then he gets adopted by his uncle, who later dies.
Oh, no.
Then his mom reveals she's actually his mom,
Oh, well.
moves in,
Okay.
and then she passes away too.
Oh, my goodness.
And if all of that wasn't enough, his grandfather follows suit.
Jeez.
Talk about a tough start.
That's a lot for one person to go through.
You can definitely see
Yeah.
how all that early loss and instability,
Yeah. Could lead to some, let's just say, rebellious tendencies.
for sure.
It's almost like he was
Yeah.
destined to live a life that defied all expectations.
Absolutely.
And defy expectations he did,
He did.
but not always in the way you might think.
What do you mean?
Well, so after all of this family drama,
Mm-hmm.
he tries to go straight,
Okay.
picks up plumbing.
Plumbing.
And get this, he's actually good at it.
Wow. Skilled tradesman.
But then the economy tanks.
Oh.
And he kind of falls back on,
Yeah.
less than legal activities.
Back to his old ways.
So, back then, embalming practices were a little bit different.
Oh, totally different back then.
Like using arsenic-based preservatives was the norm.
Yeah, arsenic. That was the go-to.
So imagine the implications for someone like Elmer,
Okay.
whose preserved body ends up
Yeah.
traveling for decades.
Decades. Wow. Hold on. Are
Yeah.
you telling me this guy's body becomes some kind of like
Arsenic.
traveling exhibit? Oh, you have no idea.
I'm
We're getting
afraid.
a little bit ahead of ourselves.
All right.
Let's go back to his career, so to speak, as an outlaw.
His outlaw career.
After a quick stint in the army,
Okay.
ironically, where he picks up some demolition training.
Oh, he learns to blow things up.
Yep, that's right.
And then
Yeah.
he decides to try his hand at robbing a train.
Oh boy, here we go.
Now, remember that whole arsenic thing?
Yes, the arsenic.
Well, it turns out he also had an knack for using way too much nitroglycerin.
Oh no, not a good combination.
So
Wait.
he learned how to blow things up in the army
Uh-huh.
and then decided to apply that knowledge
Mm.
to
Robbery.
robbery.
Not the best idea.
So that's either
Yeah.
brilliant or completely bonkers.
I'd lean towards bonkers on this one.
Let's just say it wasn't exactly a roaring success.
It wasn't.
So picture this, okay?
Okay.
He blows the safe to smithereens,
Just smithereens.
destroying most of the money.
Most of it.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
All that effort, all that risk,
Yeah.
and he ends up with what?
What did he end up with?
The pile of ash.
Not quite ash, but close.
So what did he get?
They did manage to salvage about $450
$450.
in melted silver coins.
Melted silver coins.
Not exactly the grand prize they were hoping for.
Not at all.
Not even close.
Okay, so what does he do next?
What does he do?
Does he learn his lesson?
You'd think so, right?
And just hang up his outlaw hat?
Nope, not Elmer.
He does not.
Not a chance.
What happened?
Elmer seems to have this knack for
Yeah,
doubling down on bad ideas.
he doubles down.
He does.
Okay, so tell me what happens.
A few months later, he sets his sights on a bank.
A bank robbery.
This time, he spends hours chiseling through a wall.
Hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
Just to plant his explosive.
That's dedication, I guess.
Okay, so at least he's putting in the effort, right?
Effort, yes.
Yeah.
Common sense, not so much.
So what happens?
The resulting explosion was so powerful.
Oh my goodness, that it practically leveled the building.
Wow.
And get this, the inner safe remained completely intact.
So all that work,
I know.
all that danger,
All for nothing.
and they probably barely made off with the loose change
Probably, yeah.
in the teller drawers.
You got it.
This is unbelievable.
It's classic Elmer.
So you're telling me that Elmer wasn't just unlucky,
No.
but he would...
He was almost spectacularly inept.
Oh, this is amazing.
It really is.
All right, so you've got to tell me about his next caper.
Oh, there's more.
What could possibly top blowing up a bank for a handful of change?
Well, for his grand finale,
Right.
Elmer and his gang set their sights on another train robbery.
Another train.
This time, they'd heard rumors of a train carrying a whopping $400,000.
$400,000.
Big money.
Okay, here we go.
A big score.
The big score, right?
I think so, right?
Finally, Elmer's luck is about to change.
About to change.
What happens?
Not quite.
It doesn't change.
You see, Elmer and his gang,
Yeah.
they managed to stop.
They stopped the train.
They did the wrong train.
No way they
Yeah.
stopped the wrong
Yeah,
train.
they did.
Are you serious?
I am completely serious.
This is unbelievable.
No.
So what was their incredible haul?
Well, let's see.
Sure.
A grand total of $46,
$46?
a couple of jugs of whiskey,
Whiskey.
and the conductor's watch.
Seriously?
It's it.
$46.
Oh,
46
it's only enough for like a night out.
I know.
Let alone a life of crime.
You'd think you'd at least make enough to cover expenses, right?
It's almost as if the universe
Yeah.
was playing a cosmic joke on him,
I think it was.
making sure that his life as an outlaw would be anything but legendary.
Anything but.
But as you'll soon see,
Yes.
death
Oh, yes.
had other plans for Elmer McCurdy.
Much other plans.
Yeah.
So welcome back to our deep dive into the life of Elmer McCurdy,
This guy.
the outlaw whose misfortunes, they just seem to
Well,
defy all odds.
So we left off with Elmer, like, stopping the wrong train.
Wrong train. And basically walking away with nothing.
Pretty much.
I'm starting to think he would have been better off
Yeah,
just sticking to plumbing.
probably.
You know? But as they say,
As they say,
every story
every story.
has an ending.
It does.
And for Elmer,
Yes.
his ending.
This is where it gets good.
Okay.
His ending was just the beginning
Oh, I bet.
of an even stranger tale.
What could possibly be stranger
Oh, just wait.
than robbing the wrong train?
Just you wait.
Okay.
So picture this.
Right there.
After all of his failed heists,
Uh-huh.
is finally cornered by a posse.
Okay, here we go.
They've got bloodhounds on his trail,
Wow.
a hefty bounty on his head,
Really?
the whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
He's holed up in a barn,
Oh, no.
probably still wondering what to do with those jugs of stolen whiskey.
Okay, so this sounds like
It does, doesn't it?
it's finally going to be a proper Wild West showdown.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
And in a way, it was the shootout begins,
Uh-huh.
and Elmer, true to his word,
Yeah.
goes down fighting.
He goes down fighting.
He always said he'd never be taken alive.
Oh, wow.
And he lived up to that promise.
So
Yeah.
it's the end of the line for Elmer McCurdy,
The end of the line.
outlaw extraordinaire,
You could say that.
or should I say outlaw
Not so extraordinary.
not so extraordinary?
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's where things take a truly bizarre turn.
Oh, I bet.
His body is taken to a funeral home,
Okay.
but nobody claims him.
Oh, that's sad.
It is, it is.
Now, remember those old-fashioned embalming techniques we talked about?
I do.
Well, the Undertaker,
Undertaker.
he sees an opportunity,
Oh, really?
an opportunity
Yes.
to give him like a discount funeral.
Not exactly.
What does he do?
He embalms Elmo with that arsenic-heavy preservative,
Okay.
but he doesn't stop there.
What, he doesn't stop there?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He props Elmer up,
Oh, this is weird.
dresses him in his outlaw gear, and charges people 5 cents a pop to see the bandit who wouldn't give up.
You're kidding me, right?
I am not.
He turned Elmer into a sideshow attraction.
He did.
That is amazing.
I know.
So people were literally lining up
He were.
to see a dead guy.
They were. It might sound crazy to us now,
Yeah,
but back then, people, they were fascinated by death,
really?
by the macabre,
Huh.
and a real-life outlaw on display.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That was a moneymaker.
So this is like adding insult to injury.
Oh, yeah.
But wait,
Yeah.
it gets even weirder, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
What happens next?
Fast forward a few years,
A few years.
and 2 men show up at the funeral home,
Okay.
claiming to be Elmer's long-lost brothers.
Oh, wow.
They want to give him a proper burial.
That's so nice.
But shameless.
Yeah, a real tearjerker. Seriously.
Except these brothers,
Yeah.
they weren't who they claimed to be.
Oh, no, who were they?
They were carnival promoters.
Ah.
They saw Elmer's mummified remains and thought, jackpot.
How they just
did.
strode out of the funeral home
They
with
did.
a dead outlaw.
It seems
Just
so
like that.
just like that.
Wow.
And thus began Elmer's unexpected career as a traveling sideshow attraction.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
They billed him as the outlaw who would never be captured alive.
What?
And he toured with the Great Patterson Carnival Show.
Hold on.
Yeah.
A carnival.
A carnival.
So people were paying to see mummified outlaw
Yes,
at a carnival.
that's right.
What was wrong with people back then?
I know it might seem strange to us now,
It does.
but remember,
It
this
is.
was a different time.
Okay.
The line between entertainment
Yeah.
and exploitation, it was blurry,
Okay.
especially in the world of carnivals and sideshows.
So Elmer is a carnival attraction.
He is.
But that's not the end of his travels, is it?
No.
This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
Oh my goodness.
Over the next few decades, Elmer's corpse changed hands more times than you can count.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious.
Wow.
He was featured in dime museums,
Dime museums.
wax museums,
Okay.
even used in a drug awareness campaign as a cautionary tale.
Wait,
Yes.
they used a dead outlaw
the outlaw.
to scare kids away from drugs.
That's right.
That's something else.
It is, isn't it?
That sounds outrageous.
I know, but it just speaks to how his image was constantly being reinterpreted,
Okay.
exploited for different purposes.
Now, how did people not realize he was a real body?
Well,
And
over
it's-
time, his body, it deteriorated.
Deteriorated. Okay.
He lost fingers, toes,
Please.
and became so dried out that people just assumed he was a very lifelike prop.
So that leads us to
This is where it gets truly surreal.
what happens next?
Elmer's final stop was a Hollywood set.
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
No way.
Yes.
You mean like the movies?
Like the movies.
Really?
We're talking about the set of The $6 Million Man, no less.
Wow.
They were using him as a prop in a funhouse scene.
Oh my God.
During filming,
Yeah.
a crew member
Yeah.
accidentally broke off his arm.
Ouch.
I know.
I bet that crew member got a nasty surprise.
You can imagine.
So they find out he's real because he breaks his arm.
Well, you know what they found when his arm broke off?
What?
Human bone.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
So all this time,
I know.
people thought he was fake.
They did.
And he ends up on a Hollywood set,
He does.
gets his arm broken,
That's right.
and that's how they figure out he's real.
That's how they figured it out.
This is insane.
I know, it's a story that just keeps on giving, doesn't it?
This is crazy.
So this incident, obviously,
Yeah.
led to a proper investigation,
Okay.
forensic testing,
All right.
and finally,
Fine.
Elmer's true identity was revealed.
So after all these years,
All these years.
after being like a carnival freak,
Uh-huh.
a wax museum exhibit,
That's right.
a cautionary tale about drug use,
Pretty much.
Elmer McCurdy, the bumbling bandit,
The bumbling bandit.
finally gets recognized for who he really was.
In a way, yes, it's almost poetic, isn't it?
It is.
The man who failed at everything in life finally stumbles onto a Hollywood set
Yeah.
and gets his moment in the spotlight.
This is unbelievable.
I know, right?
So what happens next?
What happens next?
Does he get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Well, not quite.
He doesn't.
No.
What happens?
But he does get something that he never had in life.
What's that?
A proper burial.
You kidding?
I am not kidding.
After all that,
I know.
after being treated like a prop
I know.
for decades,
For decades.
Elmer McCurdy finally gets laid to rest.
He does, it's true.
Wow.
In 1977, he was buried in Guthrie, Oklahoma,
Okay.
next to another Wild West outlaw,
Another outlaw, Bill Doolin.
Bill Doolin. Okay.
And just to make sure his adventures were truly over,
What did they do? They poured 2 feet of concrete over his grave.
Elmer McCurdy,
Elmer McCurdy,
the outlaw who just wouldn't quit, even in death.
he did not.
This story is wild.
I know, it certainly makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About how we view success and failure,
Yeah,
how our lives can take such unexpected turns,
it's true.
and what it really means to leave a mark on the world.
This deep dive has been a whirlwind
It has.
of laughs and surprises.
Yeah.
I can't believe the twists and turns in Elmer's story.
It's unbelievable.
But wait,
There's more.
there's more.
There is.
What are we going to uncover
We are going to uncover
in the final part
the final part.
of our deep dive?
Well, we've explored the comical side of Elmer's life.
Yeah.
But there are deeper themes here, too.
Okay.
We'll delve into the enduring fascination with outlaws,
Now,
the ethical implications of exploiting the dead for entertainment, and ponder whether Elmer would have achieved this level of fame if he had actually been good at his chosen profession.
Wow, I can't wait to unpack all of that.
It's going to be good.
This deep dive just keeps getting better and better.
It does.
I'm still reeling from all the crazy twists and turns
I know, right?
in Elmer McCurdy's story.
It's a wild one.
It's mind-boggling how a guy who couldn't rob a train
I know.
to save his life
Yeah.
ended up becoming this, like, posthumous celebrity.
A legend,
It
really.
really makes you wonder, like,
It does.
what makes a legend,
What does make a legend?
Was it his utter incompetence as an outlaw?
It could be.
or the bizarre journey his mummified remains took after his death.
Maybe a bit of both.
I mean, we've all heard of Jesse James and Billy the Kid.
Of course.
And those guys, they were actually good at being outlaws.
They were the real deal.
Elmer, on the other hand, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
No, he couldn't.
Literally. And yet,
Yeah.
here we are, over a century later, still talking about him.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It's fascinating how we kind of romanticize this outlaw myth,
Yeah.
especially in America.
The rugged individualist.
Yeah.
Defying the rules, living life on their own terms.
Yeah.
It's compelling even if the reality
Yeah.
is often much less glamorous.
And in Elmer's case,
In Elmer's case.
the reality was more like
Like what?
a slapstick
It's
comedy.
a slapstick comedy.
You almost have to admire his persistence, though,
You do.
even if it was completely misplaced.
Misplaced, for sure.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay, let's do it.
Or should I say, the mummified outlaw in the carnival tent.
The ethical aspect, right?
Yes, the ethical
Of
aspect.
Elmer's posthumous journey.
It's definitely complicated.
It is.
It's hard to ignore the exploitative nature of how his remains were treated.
Yeah, it's hard to overlook that.
From the undertaker charging admission to see his body
Huh?
to the carnival promoters just parading him around as a sideshow freak.
Not very respectful.
It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is.
This guy never got a moment's peace.
Yep.
Even after he died.
Even in death.
His body became a commodity,
Yeah.
a source of profit and amusement for others.
That's sad.
It makes you wonder,
It does.
where we draw the line
Yeah.
between curiosity
Yeah.
and just plain disrespect.
That's the question, isn't it?
It's a question that still resonates today.
It does.
I mean, look at our fascination with,
True crime.
true crime documentaries, the popularity of all these shows about serial killers.
Everywhere you look.
There's a fine line between exploring the dark side of human nature
Yeah?
and turning tragedy into entertainment.
It's a slippery slope.
Like, where's the empathy?
Exactly.
We're so quick to consume these stories.
I know.
But did we ever stop to think about the real people involved, the victims, the families?
Sometimes it feels like we forget.
In Elmer's case, there's a sense that
Yeah.
that justice was finally served.
Justice was served when he received a proper burial in 1977
Long time coming.
after decades of being a sideshow attraction, a wax museum exhibit, even a prop in a Hollywood movie.
It's crazy, right?
Elmer McCurdy finally gets laid to rest
He does.
in a peaceful spot in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
And they made sure he stayed there.
Yeah. And to make sure his adventures were truly over,
Yeah.
they poured concrete over his grave.
2 feet of concrete.
It's a fitting end to an unbelievable story.
It really is.
But it leaves us with one last thought-provoking question.
What's that?
Would we even be talking about Elmer McCurdy today
Good question.
if he had been a successful outlaw?
If he'd been good at his job.
It's a curious paradox, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
His failures, his utter ineptitude,
Yeah.
are what made him memorable.
You might be right.
He became a folk hero,
A folk hero.
a cautionary tale,
Mm-hmm.
a source of dark humor.
He really was all of those things.
Maybe there's something about the underdog,
The underdog.
the lovable loser
Yeah.
who resonates with us.
Maybe.
We see a bit of ourselves in Elmer,
I can see that.
the guy who tries his best but keeps tripping over his own feet.
We've all been there.
Or maybe it's the inherent absurdity of his story that captivates us.
The wrong train.
The wrong train, the melted silver coins,
The exploding bank.
the exploding bank.
It's almost too ridiculous to be true.
It's too crazy.
It really is.
Whatever the reason, Elmer McCurdy's story reminds us that
Yeah.
life is full of surprises.
It is.
Sometimes failure can be more memorable than success,
More memorable for sure.
and that even the most inept outlaw
Even the most inept.
can find a peculiar kind of immortality.
A peculiar kind, absolutely.
So the next time you hear about a bumbling criminal or a bizarre historical event,
Yeah.
remember Elmer McCurdy,
Elmer McCurdy.
the outlaw who couldn't catch a break,
No, he couldn't.
but somehow managed to steal our attention from beyond the grave.
What a story.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the wild world of Elmer McCurdy.
That's it for today.
Join us next time for another fascinating journey
We'll be back.
into the unexpected corners of history.